everybody. Welcome to the Career and Growth series brought to you by the Yakha Initiative. On today's episode, we have someone who is an amazing personality, like I like to say. And that's because every single one of our guests is an amazing personality. But I will not introduce him. I will let him do the honors of introducing himself. So over to you, sir.
Thank you. So my name is Collins Warrior. I am a mm, designer, businessman. Hopefully, I think I'm praying for people to call me the title of industrialist someday, right? Because
Interesting.
that's something that I find interesting. But yeah, that's a bit about myself.
Okay. All right, guys, let's get into it. But like I like to do, we'll start with an icebreaker. So tell us
Okay.
one fun fact about yourself that people don't quite know that you'd like us to know.
I play a lot. Like I play a bit too much for an adult, in quote. So a lot of times I have a lot of young people around me,
Mm,
and when you see us talk and play, you often forget there's an age difference, right? That's the kind of
mm,
person I am.
amazing.
I feel like we're all adults because we have to be adults, but we're kids at heart.
Mm, mm,
I'm
mm.
into that.
I think it's something that I quite subscribe to as well. I know there was a time in my life I was like, God, whatever it is, don't take away my childlike spirit in Jesus' name. Amen. Fire.
Yeah.
And I still stand on that too. So yeah, we are all in that boat. But let's get right into the crux of the matter. Drum rolls. Dum-dum-dum-dum-dum. Okay, so the first question is:
Okay.
we know that you started business while you were in school. What made you think, oh, entrepreneurship is something I wanted to delve into, and how were you able to manage that as a student?
Okay, so my backstory is a bit interesting in that aspect. So I started doing business as a way to um, up my personal funds, basically.
Mm,
So when you're a kid and your folks give you pocket money, right? For some reason, it's never enough, and like you try to communicate it to them, it
mm,
doesn't make sense, right? So actually started in secondary school. I think then going to school, my dad used to give me like 200 naira, right? And that was just enough to go to school and come back. And me trying to tell him like, hey, price of things have increased. The boss is no more 30 naira. It's now figure it out.
mm,
At some point, I discovered. So I used to walk back from school a lot of times. Right, my school was in PW in Keja, and we stayed in Ogudu. So a lot of us, it wasn't just me anyway. We walk back, come through police college, enter Ikeja under bridge, computer village, up at B, navigate that
mm,
way. And I used to pass by these guys that used to sell CDs, game CDs, right? And at that time, the internet was still new, right? There's not a lot of people downloading softwares and all, right? So I used to stop by these guys, buy game CDs. Those CDs used to cost maybe like 70 naira, 100 naira. And I'll take them to school. Guys will see, what games do you have? Need for Speed, Hitman, this one, that one. And they'll buy those CDs for like 500, 700. I just got used to it. In fact, I think I got used to having money early in my life, right? And I always had to find a way to keep up with that lifestyle,
mm.
right? So it came from wanting to solve a need to becoming like part of my lifestyle. And yeah, so in university it was the same thing. Noticed that people had a need for. I think first thing I did in school, 100 level, was ties. I used to go to Yaba Market. I'll buy ties. You guys to buy ties for like 100 naira and sell for like 1,000 naira.
Interesting.
I was selling out 50 ties at night. Sometimes I'll just go, come back. As I'm coming back, everybody sees you entering the hall with two
Mm.
bags.
You'd be like, what's that? What's that?
And
What's
then
that?
guys are like, how fast? How you don't come back? How you don't come back? How fast? Mass.
Mhm.
And then they're digging through the ties. And before you know, you've done 50 ties in one night. Like, you go to buy 200 ties and you finish them in 4 days. You get that kind of
Wow.
thing. Yeah, yeah. So then I was rolling in cash like 100 level. And then now the trend blew over and 200 level. 200 level was rough. Oh, yeah, that was pretty
Amazing.
much it.
Okay, so I have kind of like a question that is an offshoot from that question.
Okay.
How did you decide on what products to sell? while you were in school?
So inherently, there was no strategic decision making involved in it. I just saw a need. It's basically like, oh, maybe there's a puddle of water here, right? And everybody's jumping over it. But you know where the mop is. And you know that if you mop this, you could charge people instead of them jumping over it, right?
Mm,
It was basically like that. So there was a vacuum. I knew how to fill it. I filled it. I got paid. Create value, money will find you.
interesting. Create value, guys. Money will find you. Create value and money will find you. Amazing. That's something to live by. I think I should have that as my personal mantra as a business
You pay
person
for
as
that
well.
one, so
All right. So moving on.
yeah.
So what are the struggles that you faced on being a student and running a business? I know it's not the easiest thing to do. So what are the struggles that you faced and how were you able to overcome all of these struggles?
So a lot of time, it's what you're basically asking for is prioritization, right?
Hmm.
And many people often get sidetracked in life. I know if you're a gamer, you understand the concept of main quest and side quests, right? We all have our main quests. At this time of your life, the primary function that you all have is your school,
Hmm.
right? Everything else, including your business, is a side quest. But that as well is inherent on other factors that I might not understand. For example, if you're a kid who has it so rough,
Hmm.
that say you're the breadwinner of your family, the script immediately flips for you, right? The business is more primary to you, and everybody gets to understand that. So it's quite personal, but you have to prioritize. If you are time boxing anyhow, any way you know of, oh, this is how I manage my time, you prioritize using that same understanding. P1 for me, my school, right? If you're doing anything academic related, that comes first. Oh, I have an exam now, but I have to go and supply some goods. Exam comes first. Don't think about it too long, right? But the situation where money's tight, right? Or your breadwinner, as I said, there are
Hmm.
some excepts to it. Like everything is not a wholesome truth. There's always excepts to it. At that point, I can understand you for saying that. I knew people in school, while I was in school, that was doing business, and they will leave school at critical times, and you're like, "Why is this guy not fun? Blah blah. What's wrong with him? He's wasting his father's money." And they're like, "Oh, he's the one paying his school fees." And I'm like, "Oh shit, okay, that's different. It's not your reality, but it's
Hmm.
his. So his priorities are different from yours. So once you understand that and you're able to put your priorities P1, P2, P3, P4, as many P's as you want, you will know exactly how to manage your time. It
Hmm.
wouldn't be a problem for you.
So basically, learn what is the priority at what time and just make that the priority.
100%.
Nice. All right. So moving on to the next question.
Hmm.
Um, you say you are a multidisciplinary designer. What does this mean? Can you explain this to the young people who are watching this?
Okay, so I'll explain it. The literal meaning of multidisciplinary means I move between different disciplines,
Hmm.
right? Same way you say something is single faced or multi faced, right? There are several people, many designers have that ability, right? Especially once you understand the core principles of how design works. Design is not very, it's not as rigid as certain disciplines like, oh, you're an accountant, right? You basically wouldn't move out of that accounting bracket. Even though, I mean, you can work in different industries, right? But for design, the rules for design are things that you should understand for yourself. Once you understand that, even if you came into design as an architect, right,
Hmm.
you will notice that the rules are transferable into industrial design, into user interface design, into product design, into different facets of design, right? They might not be the same elements that are moving around. Let's take a house, for example. You're trying to design the look and feel of this room, right? Okay, first of all, you want to follow something like there's something we call the 60 30 10 rule,
Hmm.
right? So that's a very basic rule for a lot of design work. right? 60-30-10 rule, basically saying 60% of that space will be the main color or primary color. 30% will be a secondary color. 10% being an accent color, right? Now, you see that rule, people use it on user interface designs, right? So you go to a landing page, they have a white as their maybe primary color, or let me say maybe it's navy blue as a primary color, right? And then they have maybe orange, right, as a secondary color, and there's an accent with teal,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
You have, if this is 60%, this is 30%, this is 10%, right? That also applies in architecture.
Hmm.
If you're trying to do, okay, let's say in interior design, right? You're trying to design a space,
Yeah.
you will still follow that same rule.
Hmm.
So you won't have cognitive or visual overload, right? You still follow that same rule. Even when you're designing garments, right? You still follow those rules. Those rules remain the same. Once you understand and you've digested those rules to a large extent and you have the experience, you will notice that you can transcend. You begin to ask some questions about like why is a chair designed like this? Why does a chair have four legs? Right? And then you can there's some interesting designs that people break things like oh chair having four legs to do a chair that has three legs. Right? When you see it, do you feel more comfortable? You
Hmm.
might not feel more comfortable, right? But the designer tells you, hey, sit on it, don't worry. I mapped this out in my head. It works. You try it and like, oh, yeah, this is nice. How come he was able to redesign it? This guy is not a furniture designer, right? He's an architect. He applied some rules that he has from architecture, right, to create a different base but solve the same problem, right? You've heard of a spork,
Yes, a fork and a
fork
spoon.
and a
Yes,
spoon.
sir.
They didn't exist before,
Hmm.
right? Someone thought it up. Someone felt like, hey, there are some meals, especially maybe like noodles, right? They have both soups and
Hmm.
you know
Spicy
they
noodle.
can go together, right? I don't remember the guy's name, but he was not a product designer.
Hmm.
I think he was a tourist that just thought about it on the fly, right?
Interesting.
He was a designer, I think a fashion designer. I thought about it on the fly, like, what if this was this and that? It happens like that. You understand the rules enough to, because I've said it a couple of times. Yeah, people often mistake design and art. It's not the same thing,
Hmm. Can you
right?
shed more light on that?
Design is design is making rules. That's exactly what design is, right? Design is looking at a certain project and saying, this will exist here, this will be here, this will be here, so that this can be here and this can be here, right? You've made those rules because you understand the functionality, the use case,
Mm-hmm.
the look and feel, what you're trying to achieve. Design doesn't exist in isolation, right? The people who are going to use that design or whatever purpose that design is going to serve needs to be put into consideration, right? So with that play in mind, you begin to get the understanding that design has more of put these rules in place and let it work, right? What an architect does is the rules for how this building will look. I keep saying rules because that's really what they are. You have to follow it, right? The architect says, okay, there'll be a pillar here, so that when you put the staircase, it will have a so and so feel around it, right? At the end of the project, everybody is marveled. Oh, it looks so nice. The architect was very creative. Yeah. If he did not create those rules, everybody building would build rubbish.
Hmm.
That's what design is. More often than not, it's you creating rules. In your garment construction, right? How would I make this sleeve puffy? Right. It means this place has to have this level of elasticity to it, right? That's a new rule I just put in place. Elasticity. These are concepts that make design work. Design is putting rules in place.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the most accepted um, definition, but it's one that I have gotten to understand more and more the more I delve into other spaces in design. Right now, you have art. being free from expression.
Mm.
Nobody can tell good art from bad art. Have you seen exhibitions where they say, "Oh, a woman was chained to a wall, and this is so and so artist's newest masterpiece"? You, the casual observer, will be very confused, right? But there are some people who are drawn to that particular mode of expression. The average Nigerian doesn't understand art. Me myself, I don't even think I understand art to that level, where somebody will part with £450,000
Mm.
for a piece of artwork that this guy painted in 3 days. And you see the guy there looking very humble, and this man is willing to pay 450,000 for it. It doesn't make sense. The value of art is inherent. The
Mm.
value of design has to be seen. For me to say, this house was well designed, we all have to agree in unison. Like, oh, I've tried it. The chair is comfortable. This is that. The room is this. Well, therefore, good design. For me to say this art is good, as long as that art
Looks
can
appealing to you.
attract, not appealing to you, appealing to whoever is going to pay the value of that art.
Mm.
Film don't
So it's,
finish.
it's almost like sentimental value.
Sentimental value. Art is very emotional. Art is there's a crossroad. There's a point where art meets design,
Mm.
right? There are people who do maybe like things like murals, right? You see like the Roman cathedrals, or you see Greek um, architecture, right? There's some very interesting stonework. Like they look beautiful, right? These are necessary. That house, that temple, that palace could have stood
Without it.
without it, right? But they put it in place, right, as a form of their own creative expression.
Mm.
And that's what makes it even more memorable, right? But we thought without it, it would have worked.
Yeah.
But the design of that building would not have worked if the design was not well done.
Mm.
So the design is a necessity.
Yeah.
The art form, the painting, you see like the Sistine Chapel, all the beautiful artwork, or like it will leave you saying, wow, like you feel that reverence
Oh
when
my
you're in the space.
god.
Oh my God. All of that is very emotional,
Mm.
right? That comes more from the artistic expression.
Yeah.
Design can leave you feeling like that sometimes, especially when you see like, a very interesting work of design, like the pyramids of Egypt, right?
Yeah.
People are baffled how it was built, right? Design for that place is so intricate. It can give you that same feeling. Yes, a lot of good design does that, right? But it comes from a different place. It's not just emotions.
Mm.
It's also a large
Practicality.
appreciation of the practicality of it,
Yes.
right? The pyramids, or the structure of a pyramid, is one of the strongest shapes you can find in nature, right?
Mm.
That's one reason why a lot of our houses have that pyramidical shape on the roof.
Okay.
That
Yes.
thing is not going to blow off. Those, if you have this
The flat
a
one.
flat roof, right? The odds of a gust of wind blowing it off is way higher than having a triangle, right?
Mm.
So you see the triangle at the apex of a lot of things, buildings, etc., stuff
Yeah.
like that, right? From a structural perspective, that's structural design in
Yeah.
play, right? Sometimes you might say, it doesn't look good now to not spoil the gang that we're trying to do. Yeah, but okay, you know what? We'll still be like that. Maybe we'll just use something to cover it just to make you happy.
Mm.
But structurally, this is what we want to do.
Yeah.
We know this one will stand the test of time.
So that's the difference between design
Yeah,
and art.
exactly. Design and art.
Amazing, amazing. We've learned quite a lot. That was I feel like that was a masterclass on its own, the difference between design and art. But thank you so much for taking the time to
No
really break it
problem.
down into smaller bits for our audience to learn from.
No
All right,
problem.
so let's take it back to your business.
Okay.
Hey. All right, so can you tell us a bit about Sergio?
Okay.
Just a little bit about Sergio,
Okay.
and then explain to us what inspired the amazing comeback that Sergio did about a year ago.
Okay, so soju is by today's definition. I'm sure my brand manager will be waiting for me to say this verbatim. But so soju is a fashion house. that is rooted in originality, in the African culture, stories, the journey of life,
Mm.
and the journey from place to place as well. Right. Those things are the ethos of Sajo. How we live our life, where we go to, the stories from here
To there.
to there, all of that, putting it together, that's Sajo.
Mm.
It's not the most common fashion expression, but we make it work.
So, what inspired your comeback? I mean,
Um, One is hunger, and not hunger in its literal terms, but hunger in a place. I think I was in a good place in my life.
mm,
Yeah, for most of my years, I have struggled, but I knew when I was in a good place in my life. I'll say financially, I'll say mentally, physically, spiritually. I felt like I was in a good place in my life to go back to something I was passionate about doing,
mm,
and this time treat it with the utmost care to make it excel.
mm,
Yeah. So I think surgery is the one thing in this life that I've restarted,
yeah.
but I restarted it from a comfortable place.
Mm,
Even though now I'm uncomfortable again, but I like it.
yeah. Okay. Okay, that's amazing. All right. So, we know that, of course, Sancho is a Nigerian brand
Yeah.
that is going global, right? And people are often amazed by the quality of the shoes. Can
Yeah.
you tell us about that? How is it that you are able to raise a Nigerian brand up to that extent of excellence?
Yeah. So it is. There are two things involved, right? It is the people
Mm,
and it's the process.
mm,
First, I'll talk about the first part here, the people. Now, finding the right people to work with is often difficult, right? The cost of talent in Nigeria and the cost of doing business is very crazy. There's not a lot of support in this modern days. There's not a lot of support, both financially, in fact, in all ramifications for non-technology and property businesses in our modern days,
mm,
right? If you're not doing something in the technology space or in real estate or any of the big oil ventures, right? If you're doing anything in that space, it's going to be hard to get good funding,
mm,
right? So that aside, it also means it's going to be hard for you to pay really high sums in salaries, right? So now you're caught in the place of how can I find people to work with that are very good, like best on the planet good, right? Without spending break the bank money,
mm,
right? It's a difficult one, but we're still at it, right? We're able to find some, we're hoping to find others, right? And then also, the second part, the process. From my work experience, I've been opportunity to work with different people across different countries, right? From Nigeria, Pakistan, US, UK, Ethiopia. I've had to do a couple of things here and there, right? I'm going to understand one thing that we seem to miss a lot. The biggest production economy we have in the world right now, China,
mm,
majority of their success comes from the process, not from the machines.
mm,
We had, for longest times, Nigerians happily tell themselves the reason why this thing work, na machine do am, na machine do am. That already, you've already set yourself up for failure.
yeah.
You've already told yourself that it's not achievable
Mm,
by your hands, right? And small exposure, small travel, small. And I was telling my team, I was in Pakistan once, and I went to a man's factory. It's about the size of this room we're in, right? And it was him, his wife. He has two wives. His two wives, three of their sons, their cousin, all of them sitting on the floor doing one part or the other of the shoemaking process, right? And they were bringing out some very good quality shoes. Very few machines in play.
mm.
Everybody was so dedicated to their work. The person that's applying gum. When I looked at them, like, okay, how do you do this? Yeah, this is how we feed. My business now. I die. My own business. Drag the song. Come. That one self greeted me. I looked at it like your mindset's already that this thing, you guys can produce any shoe, like any shoe you want. Give me design, any shoe you want. Ah, are you sure? 100%. Why don't we think like this? The way we think about shoemaking in Nigeria is very one of one, bespoke. I sit down, I spend hours on this one shoe. That model is actually an excellent model, but the pricing in Nigeria doesn't is not worth it. You go to um, Savile Row in the UK,
Hmm.
you find a great bespoke shoemaker, right? I want to make a pair of Oxfords. They're charging you north of £2,000
Hmm.
per unit. You can spend as much as 2 months, 3 months on that shoe, right, before you pick up that shoe. When you pick it up, yeah, it's a great quality shoe. Lovely stuff. Last you 4 years, right? But the average Nigerian shoemaker is not making that money.
Mm-mm.
Not even close,
Not close.
right? But somehow we feel we'd rather put in that time and not make that money.
Hmm.
So I'm looking at it like, okay, so why don't I just do what everybody else is doing, right? Since I don't have the market, right? Can I produce more shoes in that same time?
Hmm.
Yes, I can. Can I create a process to bring out 100 shoes identically the same to each other? Yes, I can. Okay, let me do that. And we start working on that batch processing.
Hmm.
You're applying the gum this way, again, again. Do it 20 times. You have 10 pairs and apply the gum on. We're cutting the leather, cut for the 10 of them.
To clear cut process.
Batch processing. Everybody taking one role. I don't have people doing full shoes. If I give you a pair of shoes, I give her a pair of shoes, I give him a pair of shoes. The same picture. I say, okay, all of you make this shoe. By the end of the day, give me the shoe. Y'all give me 4 different shoes.
Hmm.
But if I give one process and I say, your job is to cut, you're cutting everybody's shoes. You are stitching everybody's shoes. The cut, the stitch, the last, everything will be the same because it was done by the same person
Hmm.
in that process.
Hmm. Hmm.
So we started doing that.
Amazing.
We started doing that, and here we are, done about 3,000 plus shoes. All excellent.
Hmm.
No issues.
Interesting.
Zero returns.
So basically the let's call it the pro tip to having an excellent brand, especially in a country like Nigeria, is to have excellent people working with you and a clear cut process.
Record.
Amazing. All right. So moving on to the next question. So if you could give an advice to your younger self, say for example, younger to be from like 10 years ago, could just appear right in front of you now, and you could give him an advice, what would that advice be?
I'll tell you one of my biggest regrets. Mhm. I'll call it a regret, not because of anything, but I don't know any other word to use to describe it. Is get a job, get a 9 to 5, work for 2 years at least
Hmm.
in a very structured organization. That was something I learned the hard way, and I lost some time because of it.
Hmm.
The structure of an organization that is, you see, when we are building stuff, right, we are standing on the shoulders of giants. There are different tools that we can use to build. Toby never spent a day in 9 to 5.
Hmm.
Toby never built any networks. Toby never lent on anybody else's dime. Everything I learned, I paid for it some way or the other. Would I have moved faster if I learned under someone else? I mean, yeah, I did. I learned under people, but I mean, like in a structured, formal work environment, like a bank, for example. The young people around me, when I tell them, oh, get a job, even if it's just for 2 years, they're like, ah, boss, I don't have time for that, this one, that. I say, trust me, you do have the time for it. The problem is there are things that you think that you know, especially if you're someone that wants to have a good career, be self-employed, maybe pick up a great skill that'll pay you. Yeah, no need for that. But if you're someone that wants to build something big, you need to watch how big things are run.
Mm. If you're someone that wants to build something big, you need to watch
You
how
need to
big
watch it.
things are
So even
run.
if you don't want to get in a big corporate organization, right? Okay, I want to work in fashion, for example. Work for somebody that is doing fashion.
Yes.
Find it, even if it's an internship, whatever it is, you need to learn on someone else's dime. There are exceptional cases in this world. I'm a big fan of the young people who, drop out of school, the Mark Zuckerbergs, drop out of school, start up, tech startups, start from your mom's garage, something like that, build up. It's fantastic, right? It's a great story, but it's a rare story. It's a one in a billion story. That doesn't happen to a lot of people,
Mm.
not as much as we think. But the good thing about media is media propagates these stories, right? So the frequency with which you hear them, you think it happens more often.
Mm.
It's not as often, right? So a lot of times you feel like, oh, there's this business idea I have, like once I just, you go did there, you go tire. So you might be one of the people who has the fortitude to push it, right?
Yeah.
And make it happen. But just in case you're not that person, you should be prepared.
Mm.
I am happier being over prepared than under prepared,
Mm.
right? So I would have said, yeah, I wish I had spent at least a year or two in corporate Nigeria,
Mm.
built a great network. Because right now, I wouldn't say I have like a fantastic network, but yeah, now I'm good, right? But when I talk with my guys now, almost everything I need to, hey, guy, I need to raise 20 million. I speak to somebody who speaks to somebody before I raise it. Do you
Mm.
understand? But there's people that I know who want to raise 20 million. They are one call away,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
That kind of thing. So it's not always going to be like that, right? The more you grow, the more you have access,
Yes.
right? But as I said, I would have grown faster
Yes.
if I came in knowing what I know already.
Mm.
Because I had to pay to learn what I know now, pay by time. So if there's any way, look, if you're 20, you're 21, 2 years is not going to mean nothing to you, man.
Exactly.
It's not. Spend that 2 years, 3 years, work with somebody, work under somebody, absorb, be a sponge. When they are using me to do all the work, do
Do
it.
it.
Because
Because
trust
in
me,
doing it, you
when
learn.
you are 30, you will not be able to do it again. So just do it now. 'Cause that's when you will like people they lose guard. Sometimes you're out with your boss and they are just telling you things that you should not even hear at your level.
Do you get?
But and you understand that do you know this once they do that from there that's how this guy made money. I said, that's how I made money. You put your head down.
Amazing.
But from we wait there outside, we never got those updates.
We never got the update, so it's people from
We
inside.
took it. We had to do it the hard way. I mean, if you want to join us on the hard way, yeah, feel free.
I
Bro.
mean, I can remember there was a time a popular actress in Nigeria was telling us how she got most of the opportunities she got. She said that time she didn't get some of the roles, but she would still show up to set and just meet the people that were on set and say, please let me carry your bag around. No, and when they are thinking of who next to cast, they will think of her first. So,
Definitely.
so connections are very important. And
Being in that
yeah.
space, oh, this is where you want to trend, right?
Hmm.
In fact, even minus the connection and the knowledge, even it being a testing ground, because you are in, let me say, you are in university, or and you just say, oh, I would like to work in oil and gas.
Hmm.
You have no frame of
Clue.
reference for what oil and gas really does mean,
Hmm.
right? All you hear is upstream, downstream. You don't know
Don't even
what either of those
understand what
terms mean, right? You've never had a chance to, and then you start looking for money that Or somebody told you that, Moga, if you see like 2-3 barrels a day, you want to sell for this amount. Next thing, you start looking to raise money to do that. By the time you get into it, you're like, no waiting a time with this. Like, so I have to hire a HR person for what? I don't know this before, right? I never walked into the structure.
Mm.
And by the time always think about it, standing on the shoulders of giants, right? You want to switch up the structure.
Mm.
You need to understand the structure.
Mm.
If I tell you, oh, I want to redesign your house, but I've not been to your house, I've not even seen the pictures, will you answer me? You can't say, oh, I want to change the game, I want to change what fashion is. Everybody who has changed what fashion is worked in fashion.
Fashion. You
From
even need to even know
Virgil
what the
to
current game
every
is.
you can't do it from outside. You can't just it's like trying to come in as a substitute when you're not on the sidelines.
Mm.
Like, okay, you don't even know who is leading in the match. How do you just jump in? Right?
Yeah.
But somehow we have that feeling like, once I'm ready, once the money enter, that doesn't work
And
that
then
way.
you get the money, but when you enter, you're clueless.
Now that's
Amazing.
what happens in Nigerian tech.
Wow. Straight bullets, but oh
All
well. Okay. Amazing. Amazing. So we're moving on to the next question, which
right.
is, in a way, you've started addressing some of the questions that I have,
Great.
right? So we know that you're passionate about mentoring young people. You've
Yeah.
mentioned it a couple of times
Yeah.
in passing in this interview.
Yeah.
And we also know that you had the WSD Community for
Yeah.
Creatives. Well, can you tell us some pitfalls that you think young people should, avoid? I know you very said this the last
Okay.
question, but
Okay. Yeah.
just
Sure.
more hardcore
More on
points.
that. So, I would say for young people, right? I was having a conversation with my brand manager today, and I explained to him where people often want to change so much when they're young, right? You want to come into the game and just flip that script. Yeah, it's a great notion to have. Don't let that fire stop. But understanding it, I'm trying not to go back to say you need to work for someone, but you need to understand exactly what it entails to be in the space that you want to operate
Mm.
in whatever form that's going to take. If that means you interning, if that means there's a saying where people say, youth is wasted on the young, right?
Mm.
I'm not so old, I'm in my 30s, people. But when people say that, I understand it now. Because at that age, I feel like there was no time. The older you get, that's when you understand that there really is no time anymore. Then there was time.
Mm.
Because the person tell me, say, guys, slow down, there's time. Right? Learn this, do this, try this.
Sorry.
Make your mistakes. Right? Try everything. Go everywhere and try everything. Then you can now choose.
Mm.
So the older you get, that's when you actually realize that there really isn't so much time. Back then you had time. Back then you had time to explore stuff,
Mm.
go everywhere, try everything. Just keep doing because you feel you know exactly what you want to do, right? But you need to experience it. I've had people leave high paying jobs, I've had people abandon promising looking businesses, right? Because on one end, maybe fulfillment, maybe it wasn't giving them the time to be who they wanted to be,
Mm.
right? Those are things that you might not know till you are in it, right? So getting to understand that space. A lot of times young people feel they want to do it like real, like right now, and you have way more time than you think. Life is short, fine. Oh, there's no time. Money waits for no man. Yes, but you will make money,
Mm.
right? People don't agree that one. You'll make money. Calm down and explore. Really find that source. Really find what makes you thick, right? And I know what I'm saying, really find what makes you thick. Maybe because I'm a believer in exploring a lot, going everywhere, trying everything. So as you see me, so there was one time that I felt maybe I might have a music career. It did not last 2 weeks, But yeah, I tried it, right? And from that, you begin to see what you're really good at. Like,
Yeah.
this is where I can really offer value, right? We all have special skills and abilities. All of us human beings, right? You just gotta find out what those things are. When you find them out, you begin to excel. You begin to see, oh, I can command this much amount for this value,
Hmm.
right? But not you sitting in one niche and trying to force yourself in. There are people who are in jobs that maybe this is the job that they feel is befitting for them, right? And they're not part of the top 10,000 out of 9,000 doing
Hmm.
that job, right? But they just want to I'm a this, I'm a that. Nah. Find a place where you really excel. Find a place
Yeah.
where you're good at what you're doing, right? And you'll be happy, right? Happiness and having money are two different things. But I think that's for another day. So that's just it for me. Like, as a young person, I'm pushing you, try stuff. Try as well. Even if someone has told you somewhere that you will do very well in so and so, take that into advisement. Try it, but try other things too.
Yeah.
When you see what works, you can stop trying.
Mm.
Right. But if you're a creative person, you get bored. You still try
Yeah.
it. You still try
You
other
should
things at
try
some
other
point.
things. So
Yeah.
basically, as a young person, try your hands on different things. And A, do not be in a hurry. Money will definitely come. All right. So moving on to the next question. For young people who have a passion for business or even just want to start out a
Mm,
business venture but have little to no capital,
mm,
what is your advice to these people?
mm. If I tell you now everybody's meant to start a business, how would that sound? See, segue to what I just said, right? Not everybody meant to start a business.
Mm.
We all have our special skills and abilities, strengths and weaknesses. You need to know yours. Now, you want to start this business, you don't have capital. Do you have proof of concept?
Mm.
Do you know if this thing you're about to do will be successful?
Mm. Mm.
If you're sure, if you can do a test, you can show traction, you can, oh yeah, I can do this, I can turn this 100 naira to 500 naira by doing this. Fine. Take a loan. Don't look for funding. Take a loan. Enter BC. Yeah, because, see, take a bet on yourself.
Yeah.
If you want to be that person, enter BC.
Mm.
But if you're still unsure, you just have to keep building, right? Restarting Sajo, what I did was basically I found something I was very good at.
Mm.
I found something I could sell to people all around the world. I was doing that for a couple of years, and I saved a bunch of money, and I used my own money, right, to restart. I think starting it all over again, you guys spent about 27 million,
Mm.
right? You can try it. Pack your savings and put inside.
And put inside. If you are sure that this is going
If
to
it
work.
fails, sorry,
Hmm.
because there's no guarantee that it will succeed, right? But there's nothing stopping you from trying.
Take a bet on yourself.
Take a bet on yourself.
Hmm.
The bets, when people think of taking a bet on themselves, right? There's this idea of I will just do it, and then tomorrow they will not discover me, and then they will not carry me to US, and they will carry me to France, and from there I will now meet the Pope and the President and the this and the that, and then they'll do a movie about me.
Ah,
No,
wow. Such
no,
grand ideas.
no. You will fail. You will start again, and you will fail again, and you will wonder why the hell did I start this thing, and then you keep failing
Until you get it right.
until you get it right.
Amazing. I feel like that was blunt enough, but it's something that people, especially as business persons, you need to hear. Your first business idea is not the one that's going to fly. I promise you that, and I know that's from experience, you know. But there's such a thing as doggedness and just keeping at it, people are more likely to invest in you when they see that you are committed to a cause. If nobody is just going to invest in you if you just come out today and say, well, I just decided I wanted to start a business. But once you have been in it for like 1 year, 2 years, people have seen your track record. I mean, you've heard from Elsa's episode, right? All right. So with that, I think we have quite said it enough. Bet on yourself. Okay? Believe in yourself enough. Have staying power. And that will take us to our last but not least question,
Okay.
which is general advice to any young person out there.
Your advice.
Just for context, we have people from 15 to 25 watching this. So, what would you advise somebody within that age bracket?
Go everywhere. Try everything. There's time. Don't assume you know it all. Money will come. Don't chase money. That statement always like it's difficult even rolling it out of my mouth, yeah. But I'll use an example of how you see um let's say like Elon Musk,
Mm.
right? Elon Musk is the richest man in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody will rattle off, oh, he's worth so and so $1 billion. That money doesn't sit in an account somewhere,
Mm.
right? That is a summation of all the value he has added in the world. Go for value. Elon Musk doesn't own one or two or three. He owns several companies that are doing the wildest things.
Mm.
They are not doing the basic, like, you want to be that guy, push.
Mm.
If you have any special power, there are special powers that people have. Like, I talk to my people about special powers all the time, right? And not in terms of like superhero special powers,
Not
right?
Power Rangers.
Nah.
Mhm.
But special powers in terms of there's something that you can do that not everybody can.
Yeah.
There's a way that you think, there's a way that you visualize, or there's a speed at which you do something, like when you work with your hands, or how you write, or how you type. There is an advantage that you have in this world over the others.
Mm.
Find that thing. You might be the best supporter. I have a friend who is the way he knows how to support people is weird. Mine not supporting my business. He supports. If you tell him, "Oh, I want to start selling chewing gum," he will sit down with you all night, just planning. Okay, what if you now do this? What if you now do this? And next thing he's helping you post. He's helping you. He's looking for things online that would help you. He's
Mm.
not just doing it for you. He's doing it for other people as well. That's just him,
Mm.
and he's not taking a dime out of anybody. He feels like, let all of us blue, let all of us be on the yacht together. That is his
Mm.
own philosophy, right? And that is a fantastic, like, he will always tell you, I'm not a creative.
Mm.
I know my part. He's a great manager.
Mm.
Like, project management, solid guy. Creative, zero. You can be looking at, yeah, leave photo shoot. Raise the leg like this. Oh, it's not fine. Sorry. He doesn't fight it,
Yeah.
right? Know your strength and dive into it. Put your because that's the thing that the universe gave you to use and win. If you snooze, for some people, your superpower can be money.
Mm.
You came from a rich family, guy. Don't snooze it. If you want to do other stuff and create value, don't snooze it. Utilize that network. Utilize
Mm.
that fund.
Yeah.
There's somebody that has an idea somewhere that you can partner with to create value.
Amazing.
There's so much you could do. Just calm down. It's time. Try it all.
So to wrap it up, you're young, try your hands on different things, and find your superpower.
Find your
Do
superpower.
not be in a hurry, money will come.
Money will come.
Money will come. I love it. All right, guys, that has brought us to the end of this episode. And if you stayed up until this moment, then you are a what? You are a real MVP. Thank you so much once again, Mr. Collins, for being a part of this.
You're welcome.
And with that, we say bye. But don't forget, hey, don't be in a hurry. Hope you've subscribed. If you've not, do that now. And we have more episodes coming up, so be sure to stay tuned. Bye, guys.